Assalamu alaikum guys, welcome back to the channel. Just had a bit of dinner after work and got a bit of a craving for something sweet. So I thought let's go to the sweet shop in my backyard and I'll have a few treats to satisfy my sweet craving. So I thought bring you along for a walk if you have time, that is. If not, you know, you can always watch it next time. And yeah, please, if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. It means a lot to us. And if you enjoy the content, please hit the like button. So yeah, I thought I will just go for a walk and just munch on some figs and just have a bit of a talk about my figs and some of my future plans for the figs. So here I am next to my, at the moment, my best fig tree at this time. This point in time, which is towards the end of literally the end of summer in Sydney. And this thing is just outperforming every other fig in terms of vigor, health, productivity, quality of figs. Just absolute champ, this thing at the moment. And it's the one and only Bourjassotte Noire. You can see as the dock tag says there. I don't know if you can make it out, but yep, Bourjassotte Noire. And it's one of my favorite, definitely top 3 out of my collection, my humble collection. Arguably top 1, in my opinion, it is miles better than Black Madeira. Not only does it give it a run for its money in terms of taste, and many can vouch for that. When it comes to taste, it really gives Black Madeira a run for its money. But in every other aspect as well. I mean, this thing is absolutely a production machine. It just loves life in general. It just wants to grow and aim for the sky. Even vertically and horizontally too. It's absolutely super vigorous. I've rarely ever, I can vouch for it. This year I have not seen one fig split, not even the slightest on this thing. They're absolutely troopers, soldiers when it comes to just holding their own and keeping themselves together. They love the moisture. This is the most moist part of my garden, believe it or not. When I first bought the property, on every heavy rain, this whole area used to pull up like a dam, basically, literally like a dam, because it's the lowest point of my whole garden and it's up against my neighbor's fence and my driveway there. So it's a bit of a sort of a corner where the water holds, and it used to always pull up with water here. So literally this is my wettest point of my backyard, and that's literally why I planted this thing, strategically. Because when I done a bit of research about it, and the history behind this thing was that it was found or discovered in Morocco and North Africa, most likely Morocco, next to a dam, literally growing right near a dam, a body of water. So you can imagine this thing is just adapted to that sort of environment. It seems to love water. And they actually grow it in France as a commercial fig. And they've reported that, yes, this thing loves water and loves moisture and humidity in general. And it thrives in those conditions. Does not split, keeps producing top-notch figs. It keeps soldiering on this thing. And I can definitely vouch for that. You can see, basically, I've pruned it. This is summer pruning, basically, now. I'll just run you through it because I'm still waiting for a dormancy time to give it a proper haircut. Then I will make a video of how I prune my fruit trees for production and for vigor, and then most importantly for health, and just to put up with our humid conditions, wet and humid conditions, such as Sydney. It can get very wet in Sydney depending on the season. This year was semi-wet, but you know, you can have some very wet seasons. So to give this thing or any fig a fighting chance, especially in this sort of conditions, out of its sort of comfort zone, you know, a non-Mediterranean climate, you need to prune it and give it a lot of air circulation, you know, light penetration to avoid the, you know, minimize diseases and fungal issues and things, and just to give it a fighting chance basically. And that's what I've done here. I've basically cleaned up. This is a summer pruning, mind you. I've done it a while ago, like you know, probably a month ago at least, or a couple of months ago. Yeah, probably about 6 weeks ago. I've come in and I've cleaned up all the branches and things that were growing low and in the center of the tree to give it a nice air circulation. And it really responded well to that sort of prune. You can see I can throw a cat in there, as they say, and I can literally walk in there right to the center, to any part of it, and pick any fruit I like, and it's absolutely loving it. And this is the way you're supposed to prune figs, is specifically, especially in humid conditions, in you know, wet and humid conditions, to give them a fighting chance. And yeah, this thing is just absolutely loaded, super vigorous. You know, look, it produces in clusters, literally. You know, on my fig anyway, every node has a fig on it. Some even clusters. There's, you know, producing figs now. There's still baby figs coming up. It's the end of the season, and you can see this little baby fig just popping up right now. And at the same time, there's figs ripening everywhere, semi-ripe, fully ripe, all sorts of stages of figs coming up. And through this thing. It's an absolute champion of a fig. That's pretty good to me. So let's just try this one out. That's going to be the first on the chopping block. And yeah, you can see I can walk right through, and no problems at all. That one looks pretty good as well. Sorry, you know, if you can squeeze in there, have a look at that. There you go. Yeah, that one's pretty much sure ready to go. Yeah, there's just ripe figs everywhere on this thing. There's semi-ripe figs everywhere. There's new babies being born everywhere. You know, it just does not want to give up, this thing. Again, this is at the at the end of the season, and this thing looks like it just started. You know, it's got no plans to slow down whatsoever. You know, I thought my Celeste Unknown or slash Osborne Prolific, or even some call it a Godfather fig, is, you know, initially it was doing the best in our climate. It was outperforming every other fig, but eventually, you know, it sort of copped a few punches on the face, and it's sort of it's showing it now. It's really showing the stress and you know, the conditions we've been having in Sydney, on and off rain and storms, but not this thing. So this is definitely the last man standing in terms of vigor and health. Hardly any issues, you know. There's some blemishes here and there, but in general, like 80%, 90% of it looks awesome, looks amazing. So highly recommend it for a humid and wet climate. That's for sure. I can vouch for it. You can see it. The proof is in the pudding. And yeah, I mean, what can I say more about this fig? It's an absolute champ of a fig. I highly recommend it. If you haven't got it in Australia, you should really do your best to get one. They're commonly, they're pretty common these days. They're fairly easy to obtain. I just had a look at eBay the other day, and it's all over eBay. Relatively affordable as well, actually. You know, if I can recommend one seller, I would say Mr. Figs. You know, he's a good friend of mine, actually. So I'm not just saying that because he's a friend. He's actually a very reliable source. Has some amazing figs, and at very, very reasonable prices. It's you know, have a look. You just punch in Mr. Figs on eBay, and you'll see. He's got you know, some amazing stuff for very reasonable prices. You know, nothing that's going to break your budget, that's for sure. But yeah, the point is, get yourself a Bourjassotte Noire. And I believe he's got the mother tree, my mother tree. So I got this off him years ago, and off his mother tree. So he definitely has a winner. And there you go. Look at it. I mean, wow, from top to bottom, still going hard. Babies being born. One's been, some being, that are already ripe and ready to go. Wow, absolutely amazing, this thing. Let me just open up this one. There you go. Look at it. It's a beautiful looking fig, absolutely marvelous looking fig. Beautiful shape. It's a little bit squatty. It's a semi teardrop, a little bit on the squatty side, but it really resists splitting. Again, I've shown you here, and we've been having some wet conditions in here, like semi-wet. So we're getting storms and some rainfall. At least every couple of weeks, you're getting a few days, sometimes a whole week of rain. And they're really holding their own, these things. Not even one on this whole tree. A massive tree, by the way. It's about, I would say, maybe 7 years old, 7, 8 years old, this thing. And you can see it's got like the biggest trunk is a 4-inch, at least. It's about a bit bigger than 4-inch, maybe 5-inch trunk there. And the rest are, 3 inches and 2 inches and all sorts of inches coming up off the main. And you can see there that part on the floor, that part of the trunk, it collapsed years ago because we had a heavy storm and it was just loaded and it couldn't hold its own, and it just collapsed on the floor. And I let it be, and it restruck roots and it started shooting up new trunks and new branches up, and I left them, and I believe that made it more stable now. I've never had that issue ever since. Because obviously it's nice and stable. It's got plenty of roots. You can imagine this thing is just, it's got its root systems everywhere. Okay, so let's open this thing up. It's got a black with a bluish sort of hues to it. Beautiful looking fig. Look at that. Alright, I need a bit of sun so you can see it properly. Let's go in the sun. Not enough light in the shade. But if you can see it, it's got nice pools of honey right in the center. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can see it. There's a bit of glare on my end. But yeah, it's absolutely good. It's very, very thick and syrupy and jammy at the same time. Let's do my signature fig squash. There's the or fig smash. There's avocado smash. This is my fig smash. Look at that. Look at that. That's absolutely gorgeous. Let's go, bismillah. Yeah, it's just wow, very, very, very rich. It's got acidity, even like berry acidity in it, which I love. I love anything with acidity in it. It's a perfect combination of berry to acidity, sweetness to acidity. There's honey in there. You name it. Like, yeah, by far to me, hands down, better than Black Madeira in any shape, any way, shape or form. Black Madeira does not compare to this. If your criteria is productivity, taste, size, resistance to the weather, vigor, if all those things are where your criteria, then yeah, but Black Madeira has no chance. Let's face it. Even, some have even reported that's actually better than Black Madeira. So I'm not the only one that's saying this in terms of taste, or at least as good, you know. And even if Black Madeira wins, it's marginal if it does win. But I would say it's as good, if not better. I would say better. I haven't, for me personally, I haven't had a Black Madeira that's better than this. Amazing, you know, amazing fig, amazing size, productivity, you name it, it's got it all. So yeah, between this and my white Adriatic, which is there, yeah, I can't do without them. You know, I reckon I can get rid of everything else. I wouldn't miss them, you know, for the most part. But as long as I've got these two, I'm happy. Yeah, they're just amazing. And yeah, this is my. I'm just gonna call it unknown for the meantime. I thought it was a Celeste initially, but I was told no, it's not a Celeste. The things are too big for a Celeste. They're huge. Most likely it's an Osborne Prolific, aka the Godfather fig. The actual same, believe it or not, it's the same fig that was used in the Godfather movies. You know, the classic Godfather trilogy movies. With Al Pacino and so on. Well, this was used in the movie. This particular fig apparently, or this variety of figs was used in that movie, The Godfather. So it's a superstar, this thing. And again, very productive. I've eaten so much figs of this thing. It's not funny, you know. It's again very productive. It was doing the best in terms of health and vigor. But now it's starting to show. It's still doing good. I mean, you know, there's some leaf droppage and rust and some fungal issues, but for the most part, it's doing good. Not as good as Bourjassotte Noire. So I thought this was doing the best initially, but no, Bourjassotte Noire is still the last man standing, hardly phased by the weather. This thing's still doing pretty good though. There you go. There's a nice one there. Let's go. You're on the chopping block. Highly productive, large figs, very sweet. So the flavor profile of this thing is very sweet. It's caramel actually. I'll describe it as caramel. It's not as so much just sweetness. It's more caramelized sweetness. That's how I would describe this fig. This is actually on the smaller size of the spectrum, and even so, that's probably, you know, maybe 40 grams or so. And they get massive. Look at this one in comparison. You know, look at that. Look at this. It dwarfs it. It's like 3 times the size. This thing is humongous. Humongous, absolutely massive. So they grow. This thing's probably 100 grams. It's massive. So yeah, they're really large figs. Super sweet, super productive, caramel in taste. They tend to like to grow upright. For me, anyway. You can see. It's really sort of going up for the sky compared to like the Bourjassotte Noire, where it likes to sort of spread out a bit more. But I don't mind it because it does save a bit on space, you know, and it's doing just fine the way it is. And you can see how I've pruned it, open center. I got rid of the main branch in the center, the leader, and I've left a bit of 3 scaffolding on the side, 3 main branches, and that's my structure. And off that, you have the branching out and the fig production of those main 3 branches basically. And I don't know if you can see where I've chopped it last winter, just there. It was getting too high. I'll do the same this winter as well. Once it goes dormant, I'll chop it pretty much my height, about 6 foot or so, right there, and then it'll start branching out this way within reach. You can see where I've chopped it again here, about my height, and it branched out 4 or 5 branches below, which I was eating from all season. Again, there's another example here. You can see where I've about my height, and then it branched out and highly productive. And yeah, I've repeated the same technique all over every single main branch, and it's been working beautifully for me. So yeah, you shouldn't let it get out of reach, otherwise unless you want to feed the birds, always stay on top of it, open the center up like I did, and again, the proof is in the pudding. They're working fantastically for me, this technique. Open the center, get a lot of air circulation and light penetration right throughout. And it definitely got me through the season, even in a wet, humid or semi-humid climate such as Sydney. It got me through the season with plenty of figs. I was literally nowhere alive. In fact, I was documenting most of it. You can go back and see I was picking at least a bucket a day. A bucket, there's the yogurt buckets. What are they? Maybe 2-3 kilos or something. Maybe 2 kilo buckets or so. Daily, from all my collection. Like I've got about in ground, maybe 12 or something, 10 to 12 in ground. I don't have pots. I'm not personally. I'm not huge on pots because I'll neglect. I'm not myself. I'll probably get too busy and forget about it or something, and they'll die. So I like to plant things on the ground where they're a bit more forgiving. That's one of the main reasons why I do it in the ground. But yeah, okay. Again, I forgot about the fig I was holding. Let me just open this one for you, and we'll do a Godfather smash. Again, beautiful looking fig. It's a bronze-colored fig. I'm going to get the focus right. Okay, there you go. So bronze-colored fig. Most of them are tea-dropped. I would say, yeah, pretty much the classic shape of these are tea-dropped. Extremely productive. Amber inside. Let me just open for you. Okay, focus. There you go. You can see it's glistening. I'm not sure you can see it on the camera, but it's glistening with honey. And there's my signature fig smash. If you can see that, it's not. There you go. There you go. Yeah, it's literally. Look at the juices dripping. Yeah, straight caramel honey. This thing. It's. I love it actually. It's a ball of caramel. Wow. Yeah, I don't mind it. It's a different profile than other. You don't want everything to be, even though my favorite is the berry type of figs, but it's good to have a bit of diversity. Some honey, some sugar figs, just to sort of mix it up a bit. So another sort of awesome fig to keep. This is the VDB. That's probably doing the worst, or one of the worst out of in terms of vigor. I actually got the back end of it there still going. It's only this sort of front side for some reason, whatever the reason is. It's defoliating for the most part. But again, I've had so many figs off it. There's another one there. Let me just open it up for you. Yeah, this might be a bit of a long video, guys, so just hang in there. If sorry about that. Let me just open it up. There you go. There you go. The bird's gonna have that half. So I like sharing. I'm not greedy. Yeah, they can have this half. That's the Violet de Bordeaux. A bit of the Violet de Bordeaux smash. Again, beautiful fig. Very berry. It's one of my highest berry flavored figs. Very berry. Fig. The only thing negative I would say for me is its size. I like things on the big side. I like big sort of big size figs. But other than that, it's super productive, amazing flavor, holds excellent to weather, does not split, does not sour or spoil. Yeah, definitely ready. You have to have a VDB as well. But this is the man of the year, or the fig of the year for me. This little beauty. Let me just open one up. There you go. Okay, so this thing here initially, I was told it was a Basilica Sica initially, but again, it was brought up to my attention that actually it's not. It was a case of mislabeling, and this is either a Basilica aspera, or a good chance it's a white Madeira #1, and most are saying it's probably a white Madeira. It's an Adriatic type, that's for sure. We know that, but specifically either white Madeira #1 or Basilica aspera, one of those two. So if someone recognizes the sort of the shape of this fig, let me just get a better. And can match it up to something, a variety that they think it is, let us know in the comments. but I was told it's either a white Madeira #1 or a Basilica aspera. And this is the growth habits of it. It's a very spindly tree, very slow growing. This thing's over 5 years old, maybe 5, 6 years old, and it's barely well, it's maybe 5 foot high or so. Very slim, flimsy, spindly, lanky in growth, compared to other figs the same age, such as the Socorro Black. It's literally the same age, but look at the difference. It's twice the size, twice the thickness, twice the figure. Same of Calderona right next door, which I planted in the same hole. The Socorro Black and Calderona in the same hole. And again, it's twice or 3 times the vigor and the production and so on. So this seems to be very slow in terms of growth, very spindly and lanky. So, you know, if you do recognize this sort of a fig and its habits, let me know what it is. But in terms of taste, wow, blew my mind away. And it's got a very long hang time. Yeah, like this thing is like, it's like jelly. It feels like jelly and does not want to come off the tree. It loves hanging there for a week or two, you know. So that's another sort of characteristic of this thing. Come on, oh, come on. Oh, there you go. Yeah, look at it. Green type. And let's just open it up. Yeah, I just love the inside of this thing. Look at that. Let me just hold it up to the light. It's a very, very vibrant, intense red on the inside. Let's do the smash. Come on. Yeah. It's yeah, intense, sort of vibrant red colored. It looks like literally like a jar of strawberry jam, and it tastes like it too, just like a strawberry jam. Smell that? Oh wow, yeah. By far my tastiest fig, to me anyway. Look, I just love Adriatic figs in general, but this thing is just another level of Adriatic taste. It really perfects the balance of acidity to sweetness to berry to everything. Just about it as well. There, oh, look at that! Look at the honey. You see that? You see that? The drop of honey coming out of this. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, let me see. Yeah, now this could use another 2-3 days easily, even with how soft it feels and the drop of honey and all that business. It can still easily take a few more days. That's how long it likes to hang. This also has a drop of honey. I don't know if you can see. I don't know if it's showing up on the camera there, but I'm not sure. I can't see with the on this side, but it definitely has a drop of honey on it. You know what? You're coming down. Let's go. That's it. You look too tasty to leave for another few days. You're coming for a walk with me. Okay, so you can see. I don't know if it's showing up, but yeah, there's a drop of honey there. Let's go. Again, does not want to come off the bloody tree. All right, let go. Come on, let's go. Well, about to damage the whole tree. You know, it doesn't want to come off. Yeah, super long hang time on this thing. Does not want to come off. And there she is there. It's a good looking tree. It's got like a classic sort of a pear-shaped or teardrop shape, thick shape on it. Green with some good sort of vertical cracks. Most of its cracks seems to be vertical and deep, like sort of deep cuts, deep scars. Vertical though, not horizontal, just vertical. Sort of vibrant green exterior, and intense interior vibrant red. Okay, let's go to the sun. Oh wow, as I was sort of cutting through it, I had a bit of a taste. It just, wow. Yeah, a picture's worth 1,000 words. All right, I don't have to say anything. Look at it. Oh wow, bismillah. So smooth. It's by far the smoothest fig that I've got in my collection. Very smooth, very sort of subtle seed crunch. This thing is just a smooth operator. It's amazing. I love it. Definitely the best tasting for this season, for me anyway. Well, this is the first season I had a good batch out of it. It took so long to get some good figs out of it, you know. It's one of those figs that really needs time to come through. It's that, and the same with the Socorro Black. Took years to start producing and holding their figs and giving me good quality figs. But when they did, wow, was it worth the wait? Wow, just amazing. Okay, so this here is the Socorro Black. The Socorro Black. Yep, it took so long to give me some good figs, but they were amazing when it did. Whoa, look at the color, it's almost black. Well, I don't know if you can see this. Can you see that pool of honey in there? Wow, look at the color, look how vibrant. It's gone from sort of vibrant red to maroon to like, you know, sort of deep blood red, almost blackish. It's turning, you know, very dark in color. Very intense looking. Wow. Oh, wow. Wow. Look, if you haven't got a Socorro Black, please get a Socorro Black. It's up there. It's got that black Madeira profile of flavor profile. It's got a better interior colored interior. I love that vibrant dark blood red. It's turned into sort of, you know, a velvety sort of red now, you know, so dark, you know. A lot more productive than black Madeira, a lot more vigorous than black Madeira. It took a few years to take off, but at least it took off. Black Madeira has been its same age, and it's barely like a meter, like 3 feet high. It's you know, yeah, I don't know, Black Madeira. Well, I don't know, man. What can you say? That's Black Madeira for you. But yeah, definitely must have fig, the Socorro Black, and right next door we have the Calderona. Pon's favorite fig, Spanish fig. Calderona was actually named Calderona after the cauldron, you know, like the cooking pot, the cauldron, because that's the shape it was described to be. It looked like a cauldron. There's big black cooking, massive cooking pots. You know, it resembles that shape, so they named it after that, Calderona. It's a large or medium to large fig. Look at the honey dripping out of that. Wow. Yeah, this thing is notorious for the honey drops. Almost every single one, you can see it there. Almost every single one drips honey out of its eyes. It's notorious for doing that, this thing. You know, highly productive, amazing tasting fig. Yeah, definitely a must have. Let's go for this one. Let's go for this one. Okay, let me open it up. Yeah, I told you guys it's going to be a bit of a long one, but look, if you want to taste all the figs, You got to take your time. You can't rush it. Yeah. So there's the Calderona. You can see the shape of the cauldron. You see where the name comes from. Beautiful looking fig. It's got very bluish sort of a smoky haze coloured sort of look to it. Almost foggy. You know, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it almost looks like it's been dipped in flour, in white flour, literally. Very beautiful looking fig. Okay, it's weird. They change colors. You know, some days you pick them, they're extremely dark red. This is more on the orange side now. Yeah, I suppose it depends on the conditions and the weather, the heat. There's a lot of factors involved. Still looks delicious though. Bismillah. There's not actually. This particular one is watered down. I think that's why the colour's like that. It's nice, but it's slightly watered down. It must have been receiving a bit of water somehow. So I'll try and find another one that's a bit more concentrated in flavour, if there is one. Oh, there you go. Maybe I reckon this one. Again, that's another random fig in there, and look at that. Perfect honey drop coming out of the eye. Okay, let's strip her down and see. Look at that. Yeah, they're notorious, absolutely notorious for the honey drop. These things, almost every single one of them does it for me. Can't seem to focus. There you go. Okay. You know what? I'm going to try and pinch it on the tree, and we'll do the smash on the tree. How's that? Yeah, that's better. That's better. That one's much better. That one is much better. Okay, let's go. Yeah, the other one was a bit watered down. This is the true color. That's better. It's got that. I thought so. It's got that sort of dark blood red, intense color that it should have. Yeah, look at that. That's the color it's supposed to have. And let's see the taste. That's it. That's the one. Wow. Whoa. It's as thick as honey. It's so thick that it feels like you just ate a spoon of honey. It's got honey tones, but deep berry, acidity. Yeah, it's very complex. Again, this is arguably better than Black Madeira. So to me, it's between Black Madeira, Calderona, Bourjassotte Noire. In that sort of profile of taste, because they're all similar tasting between them. And if I had to pick one right now, like today, is the Calderona today. But as if I had to pick one out of those three, it's Bourjassotte Noire, hands down. It just outperforms all of them. You know, more productive, more vigorous. They're more disease resistant and split resistant. Even though the Calderona is amazing in the weather, it does not split. I haven't seen a fig that split, not yet, or sour. So yeah, amazing fig here, must have. Again, I would choose over Black Madeira any day. The old panache, you know, I love them for their aesthetics. The flavour is really good. I don't mind the flavour. It's a bit more on the sweet side. So it's the honey berry type of fig, the panache. It's a honey berry where basically it's got a higher ratio of honey flavors to berry, and the color shows as well to it. You can see it's more on the orange colored side of the spectrum. So yeah, and it does taste more on the honey side with slight berry. So it's nice, very nice, very ornamental. So that's why I like having it, more for the ornamental factor. And the profile is a bit different. It's not on the berry side, it's not on the honey. It's literally between berry and honey figs, right in the center there somewhere. And back to my Adriatic. That'll be the last one for today. I'm about to explode, too much figs. Look, what can I say about the Adriatic? I've talked it up so much. I love this thing. It's my oldest fig, the first in my collection, one true love. I gave up collecting any other sort of green figs or Adriatic type, because there's no point competing against this masterpiece of a fig. It's just, I love the perfect balance this thing offers. Out of all it's got the highest acidity out of all my figs, which I love. I love acidity in berries and fruits in general. I'm not a big fan of straight sweetness. Some people like on the sweet side. I like it a bit more sort of balanced, and this thing definitely delivers on the balanced side of things. Perfect acidity to sweetness to berry. It just sort of juggles all those things together perfectly, in perfect harmony. So balanced, this thing. I love it. Highly productive. It's one of my earliest figs. It comes in semi-early, one of the earliest figs to come in for me. And it keeps going all the way to winter, and it's the second best in terms of vigor and health after Bourjassotte Noire. At the start, it didn't seem like it was going to be the best this year, at the start of the season or midway through the season. But now towards the end of the season, most have thrown in the towel, except this one, the Bourjassotte Noire. They're still looking the best. Bourjassotte Noire by far, it beats them all when it comes to resistance to humidity and wet conditions and so on, to our humid weather. And this is coming number 2. The biggest tree, it's got, I would say, maybe a 9-inch trunk. I've kept it low. You can see as soon as it started growing years ago, I got rid of the main leader. You can see there, it's like a 9-inch trunk, and I chopped it off right there, about a foot high or so, when it was still a young baby. And then it sort of made the scaffolding naturally, started sort of branching out into, what's that, 1, 2, 3, about 4 branches, 4 main leaders. You got one there, and literally low, they're a foot high off the floor. That's how low I've kept this thing. Like my knees, literally, there's my knees there. It's the height of the high. It's the same height as the highest branch, the start of the branch. That's how low I've kept it. So I've kept it more on a horizontal shape compared to a vertical. And each year, that growth is all coming out this year, this winter. And everything is within reach or lower than my reach. And I can walk right to the center of this thing. It's massive. It's about 4 meters by 4 meters wide, that is, not, and by maybe 2 meters high max. 4 meters, it converts to about maybe 12 feet width, 12 by 12 feet wide, by about maybe 7 feet high. That's how basically I've kept it at. And yeah, you can see it, it's just absolutely loaded, like wherever you look, down to the ground level, literally to the ground, from the ground level, there's figs on the ground. Literally, there's figs touching the ground on this thing, and every elevation, there's figs. Even some of them, look at them, that needs to be bagged, but I've sort of pretty much come to a stage where, let the birds have some. We've had so many figs of this thing that I'm willing to share now, not just 1 or 2, like let them have, let them have some figs. Obviously, I'm still protecting a fair bit of it, but let them have some figs also. Let them enjoy my fig trees as well. Why not? Just absolutely loaded. And I've noticed this thing, it produces in clusters. So minimum 1 fig at every node, sometimes in clusters, which gives me a hard time to bag them sometimes, because they're so closely they're close together. it's a bit hard to bag them. Oh wow, look at this thing here. Yeah, that's a classic. And what I love about it, it's got a beautiful, it's a big size figs. Really satisfying size on this thing. Look at it. This one's a bit more rounded in shape. The classic one, let me show you what a classic one would look like. It's perfectly T-shaped, this thing. It's got a perfect T shape. Medium to large, that's how I would describe them, medium to large. This one here is more on the large size. You know, it looks like a tennis ball. Absolutely love these things. Look at it. Wow, look at that. I can see the glistening sort of from the glistening eye. There's a glimmer, sort of a shine coming through from the jammy sort of nectar on the inside. So there. And look at that, the classic white Adriatic. Wow. Let's go to the light. There's not much light left in the day, but let's try and find some light. Look at that. Can you see how it's glistening? Okay, here comes the fig smash. Yeah, look, you have to have a white Adriatic. Bismillah. I can't finish this in one bite. Oh yeah. Well, acidic notes. I love it. I love the acidity in this thing. It's so citrusy almost. Citrusy, honey, strawberry, all mixed in. I'm done, guys. Sorry. I'm tapping out. I'm finished. Wow, mashallah. Alhamdulillah, I can't do it anymore. Woo. Oh yeah, before I go, sorry, it's been a long video, but I get excited. You know, you probably noticed, I just get excited when I start talking about figs. I can't help it. Sometimes when I sort of watch some of my videos, I think, oh, is that how I sound? Man, it's embarrassing sometimes, you know, the way, how excited I get sometimes when I'm talking about figs and fruit trees and things, but I can't help it. I just get excited when I'm speaking about it. I'm passionate, what can I say? Okay, so this thing here, this area here, right next to my Greek basil. This is a Greek basil. I've only planted it maybe a month ago. It's so vigorous. It was only maybe a couple of inches high. Look at it now. It's almost 2 feet high, 2 foot high, you know. The reason why I planted it, I plant them strategically around my orchard. I plant basil and lavender. Specifically Greek basil, because they're very hardy and they last the winters. They actually survive the winters. The normal sort of sweet basil, or Italian basil, or the classic sweet basil does not survive even though our winters are sort of a bit on the mild side. They're not very harsh, very cold, but they're still cold enough. We get, you know, maybe 2-3 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure what that converts to Fahrenheit. Not sure actually. You guys can search it up. Sorry, I'm not sure. I'm not very good with Fahrenheit. I know Celsius. So you know, yeah, it gets to around 2-3 degrees. At the lowest point we've ever had, maybe 2-3 degrees Celsius. It's too cold. That's way too cold for. It's almost at frost point. You know, frost is around 0, and you know, that's close to sort of a frost. And no vegetables survive that, you know, that sort of cold, or not many. You know, your classic Mediterranean vegetables definitely won't survive it. You know, your tomatoes and basil and so on won't survive that sort of harsh cold weather. They tend to, but not the Greek basil tends to survive. It does make it through. For me anyway, I've seen it in a lot of other sort of gardens, and it does survive through. And it flowers during the late winter, just in time for the blooms. For my, you know, pomegranates and you know, apples and citrus in general, and I strategically sort of place them around in and around my orchard to attract a lot of pollinators, and it works a treat for that actually. Attracts a lot of pollinators and beneficial insects during the time when they're needed, when they're you know, you know, all the trees are blooming. and you need them to get pollinated to set fruit. So that's a nice little tip. Just plant a lot of rosemary is perfect for that. Choose the early flowering varieties of rosemary. Some flower earlier than others. Try and get the ones that are sort of late winter flowering, and they keep going throughout spring and even summer. But try and get the early ones, because a lot of the fruits do sort of tend to flower late winter and into spring. So yeah, a lot of basil, Greek basil, and lavender. And the reason why I've got it here is it's right next to my apple tree. I've been eating from that for a while now. It's still got heaps. I would have smashed one in front of you, but I'm done. I can't. Those figs really knocked me out. So I'm reserving this area here. You can see here, that's pretty much the entrance to my to the orchard. I can't wait for the citrus. I love citrus too. And I'm reserving this area here for the family, a very special family by the name of Calderona. So basically, right here, I want to plant as many Calderonas as I can in one hole. So I want to put them all in one hole. So far, I've got a black Calderona in an area I'm not very happy where it is. I want to move it. I want to move it here. So I've got a Calderona Noire. I just acquired that Calderona Blanc, the green one. And I'm pretty sure I've got a Calderona Roja coming towards me. Basically, I just need the grease and the I'll be happy just with the grease. Yeah, so I've got the grease. If I get the grease, the Noir, and the Blanc, I'll be happy with that. Pretty much that's the color spectrum in a nutshell. I want to put them all in there next to in one hole, leave them maybe a foot apart, so it gives them a bit of chance sort of thicken up. And that's going to be my Calderona position right there. And I'm going to start pruning, grafting, probably on my Celeste or the Osborne Prolific unknown on that one, because it's super productive. I don't need that much sort of honey figs or sugar figs. So I'm going to sort of take out one of the leaders and just graft maybe 2-3 different varieties on it. And the Smith as well. I've got a Smith in the pot. I want to find a place for it. That's one of my main problems, finding space for trees, because obviously they want a lot of room. But anyway, guys, I've kept this video for long enough. Sorry to keep you waiting and to waste so much time out of your lives. Didn't mean to, but I do get carried away and get excited. And yeah, please, if you haven't subscribed, please be our guest. It means a lot to us. And I'll try and keep you entertained and give you as much information and helpful tips as I can, specifically about growing figs. That's pretty much my specialty. But in general, I love growing anything, all sorts of fruits, or even just anything that grows. I love growing things in general. I'm a grower. Flowers and trees and fruits and veggies, whatever you name it. I love doing it. Look at this, mashallah, the eggplant, the Black Beauty eggplant. It fed us and then some this whole season, and it pretty much become like a sort of a shrub, a bush, like a bush tree at this point. It's almost like a tree, like a sort of a dwarf tree. It's so productive and aggressive, and vigorous, sorry, I should say. And it's doing beautifully, not sort of no issues at all. It's loving it here. And yeah, and I've got all those mini ones around it for pickling. And literally each week we pickle 1 or 2 jars out of these things every single week. I've got a couple of varieties of them specifically for pickling. We love our pickles. But yeah. Whew. Anyway, you guys, thanks for listening to me. Sorry if I bored you, and I'll see you next time, inshallah.